This wind isn't friggin' around today. I've never, like, had howling wind be something that, like, keeps me awake and thus gives me anxiety because I'm trying to sleep and I can't because the wind is, like, so loud. I don't know if it's because I am more anxious than I was before, or if it just never was a factor before, or if it's just this house and these windows and how the wind hits them and where we're situated versus like other places that I've been to. There was like a sound barrier and like a wall or a fence or something that probably did a lot to cut down on the howling wind going past the window. But it's a lot right now, and I woke up so early because of it and just couldn't get back to sleep. Yeah. I don't know if you can hear that wind, but it's not because I'm going fast. 83 kilometer winds right now, and I'm going like right into it. Now, I always wonder, like, how much gas is this costing me? Like, when I'm going straight into the wind, commuting on the highway, like, how much more gas is it taking than normal? Is it just like a small amount, or is it like, especially over the course of time, I mean, that adds up, because this isn't like the only time this happens. It's not like once a year or something. The cool news is that there's no snow on the ground anymore, and things are drying up. Now, I'm hoping that, you know, the wind gets us to the point where everything's dry. We don't get any more snow, because one thing I've always hated before I even moved to Lethbridge, and it was about mountain biking for me, is that even in Saskatoon, it didn't happen that often. Usually it's like, you know, you get into winter, and then it's like, hey, it's friggin' winter, and then you kind of slowly come out of it. But, you know, around March, there's usually like a couple times where it's like, oh wow, it's beautiful, all the snow is melting, and then it comes down. Like, it's just the freezing, or it's the thawing and then refreezing, and the thawing and the refreezing. I've never liked that. And one reason is for driving, for road conditions and stuff, right? Like, it's horrible. But now it's really annoying because of that and because of mountain biking. And I'm like, oh yay, like maybe in 3-4 days, depending on how hot it gets, and the wind and stuff, maybe I'll be able to ride trails. And then it'll just like snow, but like not enough that it's like, it's not the temperature or the amount of snow on the trails that's a problem. It'll like snow, and then it'll like just kind of restart the process again. And it's like, okay, I guess we're waiting like another 2 days if, you know, if we don't get any precipitation at all. And then, yeah, it's just like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And, yeah, and then the wind is its own thing. The wind could be a great help right now in kind of drying things up. And the Chinooks obviously make it warmer. It's only like +2 or 3 today. But, yeah. Wind is buck wild, and it can be a positive thing here, but generally not for me. I'm not a fan. So here we are. I think I am calling it done. I was really excited about it at first, just doing this palette knife thing. I think I did pretty well. I really like the eyes. So the eyes, the lips, and the hair were done with a brush, and everything else was palette knife. I was surprised. The noses are really difficult for me. I think they're difficult for most people that do portraits. But I was surprised with the palette knife what I was able to do, and I really enjoyed myself. Something that I've never done before. So I don't know if I should have done the hair with the palette knife or not for some more. That's the thing. If I was working on a bigger scale, I would have liked to do all of it with a palette knife. The lips don't look that out of place. The eyes have a lot of attention drawn to them, not just because I think they're painted nicely, but specifically because they're so soft and smooth, and they're not done in this style with the palette knife. The hair, I don't know if I should have done it with a palette knife or not, but I didn't, so I don't know. The hair is what's bothering me, because to me it looks like the sideburns here and stuff. He looks like a beetle. I don't know. I'm really happy with some other. I'm really happy with his collar. for shirt color and this tie. Yeah, I'm really happy with this whole section here. I'm happy with his face. Like, the only thing I'm really not happy about is like this thing of the hair, and I'm trying to get past that. And I mean, it's not perfect, obviously, but I like it. So there. So Randy and I made some tie-dye shirts yesterday with one of the kids. I'll show you those when I get home because Randy's washed them and rinsed them and stuff now. But we have this leftover dye, and I've had this piece sitting back there for a long time. And it's just been waiting for something to do, and I was going to do a portrait over it, and now I just like, you know what? This stuff is only really good for 72 hours, and then it's like, it starts to lose its pigment and whatever. So I thought I'd use it real quick here, and we'll see what happens, because I have no ideas right now. I just want to use this ink up, and honestly, this thing's been sitting there so long. Sometimes I have, like, things sit for a long time, and I know I want to do something. I'm like, yeah, I want to do a portrait on this. I think it'd be a great background. This, I felt like at the time was ready as a background. Ready for what? I didn't know, and I don't think it'd be great for a portrait, so we'll mess around with it right now. So remember that time I talked about, I don't like how it melts and then refreezes and melts and refreezes and melts and refreezes. Here we are. It's like a 10-degree difference from yesterday to today, if not more than that. And this is happening. Now we've got a snowstorm. So, sick. So I'm playing around with tie-dye and some collaging stuff, doing new shiznit. I put some hair dye on this one too. This is next. This is a really, well, not really old, it's a couple years old figure drawing session thing after I hadn't done any figure drawing for a long time. And like, I kept this one. I think I only kept 2 or 3. One of them I used in a piece beforehand, and there's this one. I don't remember where I got the inspiration for these words. It must have been from the music that was on at the time. These are praying hands, and then I put these are praying hands with, like, you know, the alternative spelling for a different meaning. So I'm going to do this right away with the hair dye and ignore those chips there. Hair dye and tie dye, and we will see how that goes. I'm liking this. I thought it was done once, and then I had to kind of get into it again and do some more stuff, but I think it's done now. So, cool beans. Well, I decided to go for a little hike. Man, it was crazy muddy in the first descent down K2, and it was like so muddy. Like, I wanted to like film it and be like, "Look at this, it's crazy." But I was like slipping and sliding all over the place, and I barely made it without falling. So, yeah, more mud, less snow than I expected, and colder and windier than I expected too. But I'm not like freezing. It's just, I mean, I had my hood up and it took that down. So, anyway, it's beautiful though. I'm really into biking, walking on this trail that I used to ride. So, hopefully in a couple weeks. I doubt you can see it, but it looks like a bald eagle up there. Whew. Just taking a quick McBreak. Very, very little leg of the climb that I decided to stop at because this seat is conveniently here. And because for the first time this hike, I almost fell, but I didn't. Whew. Almost. Starting to circle me because it knows I'm gonna die. Oh, gotta wrap up the vlog here. Got really busy. Kind of out of nowhere. I had a lot of free time at the beginning of the week because I wasn't working. I tried to be really productive there, and it was good. I did a video about change and me and being adverse to it. If you don't already know that. So that's the conversation for this week. There's no other video. That is it. We will see you on another time.